Hello good people, welcome to Keep Left, your all car guide to all things cars and all things automotive. As always, my name is Kev, the host who knows most about cars. And today's car in review is none other than the Comfort Runabout vehicle. Yes, I just did that. But simply put as the Honda CR-V, a car that has been able to run under the radar with its impeccable service index. This car, simply put, is bulletproof. This is the third generation of the Honda CR-V, with the first generation coming out as early as 1995. And Honda themselves claim they are not so sure about the first generation of the CR-V. One, because it was their first try into the market, and then two, because that particular model was based on the Honda Civic. The second generation of the Honda CR-V came out in 2002 and ran up to 2006. This features the Honda CR-V that has a tire on the boot and several facelifts. Where they got it right is on the third generation of the Honda CR-V, in my humble opinion. Because in this particular model, they had gotten their mojo together and they knew what they were doing. This was no longer a trial into the market. This was a stamp of authority into the compact size SUVs. So this is where things get interesting inside the car. This interior is something that you can get used to. Let's start with the seats. The seats are leather seats, as you can see, and they are electronically adjustable with buttons to push it forwards and backwards. You can control your back up and down. And then also there's for the seat itself. You can move it like that, which is a very nice thing to have because it will appeal to a certain clientele in terms of the market that it requires to have. Also, if you come close, the steering wheel has several steering wheel controls for the volume and for the phone, for changing the channel, for the radio, which is quite good. It's something that you can always have. Again, at the back, the space is more than enough, and the quite unique thing about this particular model of the CR-V is that they didn't forget the rear sitting passengers, because equally these seats are movable. How many compact SUVs, crossover SUVs see with that feature? It means that Honda actually thought about the whole design of the car, which is a quite unique feature for this. Equally, the seats at the back are also leather. Leather as far as the eyes can see. And if you think about it, this interior is plush and looks very luxurious, something good for them. Aside from that, the seats can fold up from here. If I just show you, if you just pull this lever here, the seats fold up to reveal a much bigger boot space. But we're just going to the boot right now, so I'll show you more of this. So in the boot is where things also get far much more interesting. So if you can see, the boot has a divider for a bit more lighter things you can put on top here. In fact, the maximum weight for this is 10 kg. So anything 10 kgs you can put on top here. And then there's the lower level. And I'm sure at this point you're thinking, then this reduces the size of the boot. No, Honda went a step further. And this divider is removable. So you can just fold it like that and you have more space. Furthermore, if you think you don't have space, you can furthermore just remove the whole thing. And I'm sure at this point you're wondering, so remove the whole thing and then take it where? Put it in the seats? No, this thing actually fits so well in the boot. If you just see, this is when a manufacturer actually puts the consumers in thought when designing a car. So furthermore, remember I said from the previous generation, the spare wheel used to sit here. for this generation, the spare wheel is put on this compartment here, together with the safety equipment. So now, under the bonnet is the stuff of dreams. This particular model is the 2.4 liter engine. There are other variants of the Honda third generation CRV with a 2 liter engine and a further 2.2 liter diesel engine. Now, to the 2.4 liter engine. So, what's VTEC? VTEC, as it is ably indicated, denotes intelligent variable valve timing and lift electronic control. iVTEC is a very clever engine management system. With the help of the onboard computer, is able to achieve both spectrums of the power band, which is it is able to give you economy and power when required. So how does it achieve this? This particular engine has two camshafts, which are equally endowed with two low profiles. The first low profile are able to achieve economy, and these are for the soft driving and low acceleration. The second low profiles are able to give you power when you require it. So here comes the bulletproof part of this engine. This engine is able to achieve huge power output stock without having a built bottom or a top end. The only other engine that I can think that comes powerful enough stock is the 4G63 and some few boxer engines that come in Subarus. So with that, having said that, all this power cannot just be thrown anywhere. This car comes with two different transmissions. This one comes with a 5-speed automatic, and the manual models are a 6-speed manual, which are more than able to cater with the power that comes in these cars. Furthermore, in America, these cars are engine swapped like no one's business. You find this particular engine in so many variables of cars, and it is very much used in amateur racing in circuits in America. It's only that it hasn't come so much in this side, but I'm sure in the future, because this particular engine is no longer in production. It was also featured towards the end of the second generation. Some of the second generation Honda CRVs came with this particular 2.4 liter engine. Upon setting out this car, you can just tell by the size of it, there is something missing here. So this car doesn't come with a normal handbrake that you lift, and it comes with a foot brake when you just press on it to release it. And something that I'm not a huge fan of, but I understand in this car, is the positioning of the gear lever. This is because you see, for example, by setting out, you see where the at park position, how do you access some of the buttons here for the AC? Maybe if you are to put it, maybe or when you're driving, maybe now they're accessible. But think about it, when you're setting out, you'd want to do your AC and all that, put your right station, and then you set out. But it's not something that you can't live with. In fact, this was done deliberately to cater with a certain clientele. So now, on to the drive. Just by going by the size of the car, you can never tell that this car it doesn't particularly come out as a big car, because it is very compact. And in fact, some of the design cues that this car takes ensures that it doesn't have so much body roll. This car is very well compact. The one thing, and I'll just show you as we drive down to bad terrain, this car has very firm suspension, which comes as a surprise, because most crossover SUVs and SUVs will come with very soft suspension. And the downside about the firm suspension is, and you'll just tell in a few, is when you hit bad surfaces, you'll always hear, and you'll hear a lot of bang and clatter because of the different panels in the car. So like now, you can just tell how firm the suspension is. The firmness of the suspension is not by accident. It is by design, because it helps in reducing the amount of body roll of the car. You can now tell. You get. You can feel all that. Yes. So now, when it comes to drivability of this car, it's quite a nice place to be. It has a very high sitting position, which is very good, and something that you have to put a tick on when you talk about crossover cars. And also, just if this is uphill, if I was just put my foot down, this car will eat this hill very easily. And the throttle, remember it's an electronic one. The response is very good and it's not twitchy. And by twitchy I mean it is not jerking and erratic when you press on it. It takes on just simply. I have not overdone it, and you can tell the car is just taking up power very easily. And that's also some of the cues that come in this car. The car comes with a dual zone AC, so the passenger can control their own AC, and for the driver can equally do that. Some of the other cues that I see from this car is that it has very many compartments where you can put different things. It has a compartment here. It has another compartment down here. It has a compartment here, another one here. They didn't forget cup holders here, so there's more than enough space in this car. And the legroom is amazing in the front and at the back, as I have just shown you. So what are some of the drawbacks that I can think of in terms of this particular model? For starters, the door lock mechanisms tend to fail. In fact, this is something that even Honda themselves have admitted. Even from the second generation, they tend to fail on and off. This is because when you start off with the car, when you get to probably around 15 kilometers per hour, the locks will close themselves automatically, which is a very good feature about the car. But where it gets wrong is this will tend to lock and refuse to unlock. When you're on the outside, they tend to fail. So it is a failure point. So the other thing that I can think about that would be a drawback is because of the size of the rear pillars, they more than often pose a blind spot. When I'm looking back, the back left, there is that huge pillar at the back. I can't see that, especially when you're reversing. That's a blind spot. And equally on this side, if I was to look on the rear view mirror, it's a blind spot. If I was to compare this with other compact SUVs in this medium-sized SUV, in this category, it ticks all the boxes for me. In fact, if you haven't watched my previous episode on the Suzuki Vitara, you can probably watch that, and there'll be a link on this video just about now, just to give you an insight and compare. Because remember, this is a 2006 model, and what I reviewed was also a 2006 model. This car equally gives us insight into how reliable it is, and that's why I said this car is bulletproof. These K24 engines, they never fail. They are used so much in racing, which is a good thing. And as that, the parts that you want to function without any fault for you is the engine and the gearbox. These are the things we can always handle. So when you tick those boxes in terms of a car, they are good. So in terms of competitors, the only cars that can come to mind that come close to this car would be the RAV4, the 2400cc one, the one that employs the 2AZ engine, which is equally put in a Harrier. So I'll put the Harrier, the Harrier, that this generation of Harriers in that category too, and probably the CX-5. But any day, I'm going to pick this car. By the way, to be honest, I have never been a huge fan of these cars, but slowly just coming to use this car has made me a huge fan. Not that I even own this car, it's a friend's car, but just the few times I've used this car, I can tell it's something that it's a good buy. You'll never go wrong. And these cars, they've aged well, they hold onto their prices so well, because remember, a car is an investment at the end of the day. So now, let me take this opportunity to just request you to subscribe to my channel, and I thank you so much for the support that they continue to give. By you subscribing enables me to continue to put out more automotive content. And if you've liked this episode, sorry about that, some little 4x4 action there. If you've liked this episode, give it a thumbs up. And until next time, it is peace.